Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you a story that will hit you right in the heart. A story about pain, sacrifice, and a truth so powerful it changed everything in just a single moment. It was a cold evening, the kind where the sky hangs low and the rain doesn't just fall. It pours, like the world is trying to wash away its own sadness. The streets were almost empty, except for the occasional car speeding by, eager to escape the storm. Daniel gripped the steering wheel tightly as he drove home from work. His eyes were tired, not just from the long hours, but from life itself. Being a single dad wasn't easy. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years ago, it had just been him and his 6-year-old son, Jake. Every day was a battle, balancing work, parenting, and the quiet loneliness that crept in when the house went silent at night. As the rain hit harder against the windshield, Daniel slowed down, squinting through the blur of water and headlights. That's when he saw something strange on the side of the road. At first, he thought it was just trash blown by the wind. But then lightning flashed across the sky, and for a split second, everything became clear. It wasn't trash. It was a wheelchair. And someone was sitting in it. Daniel's heart skipped a beat. He slammed on the brakes, his car skidding slightly before coming to a stop. For a moment, he just sat there, frozen, trying to process what he had just seen. "No, that can't be real," he whispered to himself. But it was. Without thinking twice, he opened the door and ran into the rain. The cold water soaked through his clothes instantly, but he didn't care. All he could focus on was the figure in the wheelchair. As he got closer, he saw her. A young girl, maybe around 10 years old, her thin body trembling from the cold. Her clothes were soaked, her hair stuck to her pale face, and her eyes were filled with fear and exhaustion. "Hey, hey!" Daniel called out, kneeling beside her. "Are you okay? What are you doing out here?" The girl didn't answer right away. Her lips were shaking, and it looked like she hadn't spoken in hours. I don't know," she finally whispered, her voice barely audible over the rain. Daniel felt a lump form in his throat. "Don't worry, you're safe now. I've got you." He quickly took off his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders, trying to shield her from the rain. Then he carefully pushed the wheelchair toward his car. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Lily," she said after a pause. "Okay, Lily. We're getting you somewhere warm." He lifted her into the passenger seat as carefully as he could, then folded the wheelchair and placed it in the trunk. Within seconds, they were back on the road, the heater blasting warm air into the freezing silence. Lily sat quietly, staring straight ahead, her small hands gripping the edge of the seat. "Do you have parents?" Daniel asked softly. There was a long pause. "I did," she said. Something about the way she said it made Daniel's chest tighten. "What do you mean?" Lily swallowed hard. "They left me." Daniel's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Left you? Where?" "Here," she said, her voice breaking. "They said they'd come back, but they didn't." For a moment, the only sound in the car was the rain hitting the roof. Daniel couldn't believe what he was hearing. Who could do something like that? Who could leave a disabled child, alone in the middle of a storm? Anger rose inside him, but he pushed it down. Right now, Lily needed calm, not rage. "Listen to me," he said gently. "You're not alone anymore, okay?" Lily didn't respond, but her grip on the seat loosened slightly. When they arrived home, Jake ran to the door the moment he heard the car. "Dad, you're late." He stopped when he saw Lily. His eyes widened with curiosity. "Who is she?" Daniel knelt beside him. "Her name is Lily. She's going to stay with us for a while. Jake looked at Lily, then smiled. Hi, Lily. Lily hesitated, then gave a small, uncertain nod. Over the next few days, Lily slowly began to open up. She spoke very little at first, but Jake's cheerful energy seemed to break through her walls. Daniel noticed things that didn't quite add up. Lily was polite, well-spoken, and surprisingly educated for someone who claimed to have been abandoned. She knew things, big words, complicated ideas, things most kids her age wouldn't. And then there was her wheelchair. It wasn't cheap. In fact, it looked high-end, the kind you'd expect from a wealthy family. Something about her story didn't sit right with him. One evening, after putting Jake to bed, Daniel sat across from Lily in the living room. Lily, he said softly, I need you to be honest with me. She looked down, her fingers fidgeting nervously. Your parents, who are they? Lily's breathing became uneven. They're important, she said quietly. Important how? She hesitated, then whispered, My dad is a businessman. A very powerful one. Daniel frowned. Then why would he leave you? Tears welled up in her eyes. Because I'm a problem. Daniel's heart sank. You are not a problem. Yes, I am, she suddenly cried. I can't walk. I need help with everything. They said I was ruining everything, ruining their image, their lives. Her voice broke as she covered her face and started sobbing. Daniel moved closer, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Listen to me, Lily. What they did, that's not your fault. That's on them, not you. Lily looked up at him, her eyes filled with pain and disbelief, as if she had never heard those words before. Days turned into a week, and then 2. Daniel started making calls, trying to find any record of Lily's family. At first, nothing came up. It was like she didn't exist. Until one day, everything changed. Daniel was at work when he saw it on the news. A missing child report. A picture of Lily flashed across the screen. But the name wasn't Lily. It was Elizabeth Harrington.